sin hablar, ¿no?
Jessica Thomas was a college student in 1984 in North Dakota. As she was in her apartment, she was waiting for her roommate. And she heard someone coming through the door, and she assumed that it was her roommate, and so she called out. But as soon as she did, a man came in with a knife, straddled her, and held a knife to her neck, and told her that if she didn't be quiet, she would kill her. For the next 20 minutes, she was raped. But Jessica Thomas made two decisions that night. That one, that she would not die that way, not then, not there. And she also decided that for the next 20 minutes she would burn every single detail of that man's face into her mind. And as soon as she could, she fled the scene and went to the authorities, where she was given a sketch artist. And then was given this image from the sketch. Within the next 2 days, she was given 6 different photos of possible suspects. She could single out 4 and bring it down to 2. And from the 2, she chose 1. And even the authorities saw that that was the man. A couple weeks passed, and now she was given the option of an in-person suspect lineup, where she was given 7 different people. And within those 7, she found number 5, as you see right there. Number 5 was Ronald Cott. And within the next couple of days, a trial began for 2 days, where a jury within 4 hours convicted Ronald Cott of rape. And then the judge sentenced him to life in prison. Now, 11 years pass, as Jessica Thomas was recovering from the fatal event, and the person who done the crime was behind bars. It was found through DNA blood samples that Ronald Cott was actually an innocent man who did not commit the crime at all. We have to wonder what went wrong here. How can a person who had burned the image of the rapist's face into their mind for 20 minutes wrongfully convict an innocent man and rob him of 11 years? Firstly, it was the failure of the justice system, but I believe there were deeper implications that were more to blame. I believe it was the unreliability of her memory, and of our memory, that our society fails to realize. And this unreliability is exactly what I'd like to discuss with you all today, along with what things we can blame in terms of our memory. For me, I have studied psychology for 3 years inside my high school, first taking elective and getting excited taking AP, and then even an IB class based on psychology. And it was always struck me how faulty our minds really were. One thing we can blame is a psychological phenomenon known as imagination inflation, where we tend to believe things, where we tend to believe false information while having increased confidence that it happened. And a research study that investigates this would be the one done by Loftus and Palmer in 1974 at the University of Washington, where they grabbed 45 different individuals and gave them 7 random car accidents ranging from 30 to 5 seconds. And then the researchers asked the participants to recount what happened to them as if they were an eyewitness. But then the researchers gave them a question, but varied in the wording, where they said how fast were the cars going when they hit, contacted, bumped, smashed, or collided into one another. And it was found that in the group that said smashed, they reported that the cars were going at an average of 45 miles an hour. But in the contacted group, they went 31 miles an hour, even though they were shown the exact same videos. Now we can see how easy that our memory can be moved by simple wording. And we can probably think about all the times wrongful convictions have happened because of our false memory. We can also blame another psychological phenomenon known as the illusory truth effect, where we believe false information because it's been repeated to us so many different times. An example of this would be a news article in the UK by Worth Publishers, where they were doing a news report on a academically supported study where they grabbed 30 individuals, and they said that they were doing a research study about reminiscing, but in reality they were talking about false memories. And what they did was they grabbed 30 individuals and then showed them a scrapbook of family events. And it was found that when they showed these events, they had a fake event where they were in a hot air balloon ride with their family members. And within the 7 interviews, the first day, no one believed it. But by the 6th or 7th one, it was found that 50% of the people who were looking at this hot air balloon ride that never happened, they believed that it truly did. And here I will show you a video of someone believing that it had occurred.
This is Jessica. It's day 1 of the experiment. When she's first shown the fake photo of her hot air balloon ride, unsurprisingly, she has no memory of it. By the end of the week, she believes she's been in a hot air balloon, but the psychologist knows it's something she's never done. In fact, she's being deliberately tricked.
Now this is another example of our memory being jeopardized and being completely influenced by things that have never ever happened. Now, we can go back to Ronald Cott. Ronald Cott was acquitted of his crimes, and even the day when they met, Jessica was completely struck by fear, by sadness, by so many different emotions for putting a man behind bars who was innocent. And as she was pleading to see if Ronald would forgive her, he said that he forgave her long, long ago. And now they're best friends now, and they travel the world telling their story, and even wrote a book called Picking Cotton, which is a memoir that describes their story, and is a story about redemption and injustice. Now, we must ask again, how reliable is our memory? And as you can see by my presentation, that it probably isn't too reliable at all. And I hope that you all consider this in thinking about what you can trust within your own mind. Thank you.
Welcome.